Well, if it's a non-EU citizen, then the visa that they can apply for is the non-lucrative visa. It's a non-working visa. It's sometimes branded a retirement visa. One of the requirements is when you apply for this visa is that you are no longer working or in any form of paid activity. You don't necessarily have to be in receipt of a pension income. However, you can show savings for sufficient financial resources with this visa. But again, you would apply for this visa at the Spanish Consulate in your country of origin or in your country of main residence, if that differs. For the non-lucrative visa, the financial resources for a single applicant would be the equivalent of 28,800 euros to reside in Spain for 1 year. And they will assume as well, when you apply for the visa at the Spanish Consulate, that you are going to reside in Spain for 1 year. Now, if you are a married couple, then they will reduce the financial resources level for a married couple. You still apply for the non-lucrative visa in your own right, but a married couple can attend the visa appointment at the Spanish Consulate together as a family, and they can show joint financial resources at the level of 36,000 euros equivalent. And again, that's to reside in Spain for 1 year. There are certain requirements for you to be eligible for the renewal of the visa after 1 year. So recently, the 20th of May this year, there was a change to the legislation. And the requirement from the 20th of May is that you must spend more than 183 days per tax calendar year, and that's the Spanish tax calendar year from January to December, to qualify for the 2-year renewal periods. So the initial visa is authorized for 1 year by the Spanish Consulate. Then, after 1 year, you can renew for 2 years. Okay, and you also need to show that you have sufficient financial resources for both of those years. So not just 1 year, for the 2 years. And then, so you would have spent 3 years now in Spain, you renew again for 2 years. And again, you show sufficient financial resources for the 2-year period. And then you would have reached the 5-year period. Okay, so those are all temporary residency in Spain under the non-lucrative visa. And then when you reach the 5-year stage, you can then apply for permanent residency. Okay, and then that is authorized for 5 years. And you continue to renew that for 5 years, but it gives you the right to work and reside in Spain. So the previous 5 years under the non-lucrative visa, it's a non-working visa. It doesn't allow you to work in Spain. But when you reach the 5-year period and you renew for permanent residency, you then effectively have EU citizens' rights under the general residency. So when you start the non-lucrative visa process, I always recommend that you start it at least 5 months in advance of your move to Spain, okay? Because you need to spend up to 2 months gathering all the documentation for your visa application, and then you attend the visa appointment at the BLS International Centre, which is attached to the Spanish Consulate. And then you wait up to 3 months for the visa approval. Okay? So all in all, that's 5 months. But they retain your passport while you are waiting for the approval, which, as I say, it can be up to 3 months, and we are noticing that approval times are taking longer. So you'll have to look at that period of the 3 months approval to make sure that you aren't going to be travelling anywhere. And then you receive your approval. So that's a period of 5 months in advance of your move to Spain. So you plan in advance, gathering the documentation, attending the appointment, and then up to 3 months for the visa approval. You will need to provide proof of private medical insurance with an insurance provider authorised to operate in Spain. Okay, it needs to meet specific requirements because it needs to mirror the public health care in Spain. And you also need to make sure that the first 12 months of the payment, the private medical insurance payment, is paid up in full. And the reason being is so that when you get your visa approval, that you don't cancel the private medical insurance and then become a burden on the Spanish state. So you've got the financial resources, the private medical insurance. You will also have to have a GP, a GP medical certificate of good health. Okay, it's a standard form which either a doctor can complete and sign off, or you can go to a private clinic to have that done. But it basically states that you don't have any contagious diseases in accordance with the World Health Organization Act. It's not a full medical, but it's more about contagious diseases. So you also have to have that. One of the other things that you need to have is a clean criminal record certificate, okay, in the countries where you have resided in the last 5 years. In terms of the ages that you can apply for the non-lucrative visa, you do have to bear in mind that this is a retirement visa. So when they're checking your bank statements, they will also be checking every single incoming payment into your bank account, because they want to make sure the source of that incoming payment is not from any work activity. Now, it might have been a previous work activity for which you will prove you no longer either work for that company or you're no longer self-employed. But in terms of the age, minimum age some families will also have their children as dependents. So they can apply for the non-lucrative visas as dependents, but when they reach the age of 18, then they can apply for the non-lucrative visa in their own right. There isn't a maximum age under the non-lucrative visa to apply for that, but obviously you have got to go in person and apply for that visa at the Spanish Consulate. You can still earn passive income under the non-lucrative visa. So, for example, if you own a property in your own name, not in the name of a business, because that would be considered work. If you own a property in your own name and you receive rental income, that is considered passive income. The same as if you receive dividends from a company or shares that you do not carry out any form of work activity for, then that is also taken into consideration as well.